What's up, everyone? It's BRAP. I'm back. It's Wednesday. No, it's Tuesday. Gonna do a live stream of the Xbox Extended Showcase, which starts at about 12 minutes and 47 seconds exactly. So not expecting a lot of new announcements. I think this is going to be more of a deep dive into things that we previously saw on Sunday, and then probably some new, I think, gameplay footage, if I'm not mistaken. So please hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Let me just please let me know how the audio sounds, by the way. I want to make sure everything sounds good. All right, so it looks like coming up, Bethesda interview by Pete Hines. Let's go Pistol Pete. What's up, Franco Tech? Franco, how does the stream sound, by the way, sir? I'm sure it sounds very nice. Franco, how does the stream sound? Mic was muted. What's up, Def Floyd? What is going on? Everything sounds great. Thank you, Franco Tech. I appreciate that. I'm going to try to look into the camera when I speak, but I don't typically do that. So, what's up, Def Floyd? What is going on? Everything sounds great. Thank you, Franco Tech. I'm playing this in the background. All right, let me tweet this out real quick that BRAP is live. Oh my God, hold on a sec here. All right, so a couple things. What's up, that guy Smitty? What's going on, man? A couple things I want to discuss. I've seen a lot of back and forth about the about what they show with Starfield, and seen a lot of interesting commentary about maybe 1,000 plants is too much because Mass Effect had like I forget how many plants Mass Effect had. I mean, I don't look. I get looking at a game and saying, you know what, I don't think that game is for me. But what I don't understand is the tearing down of a game that doesn't appeal to you. Like it's fair to say, hey, look, that's not my bag. It's not what I want in a game. I'm not looking for that kind of experience. I don't understand why it needs to go anything beyond that. When I see comparisons of Starfield. And the most recent thing is, it's only 4K 30 FPS. That's not next gen. But you know, I think what a lot of people are forgetting, and I think when I hear that comment, it's almost like, you know, tell me you've never played a Bethesda game without telling me you've never played a Bethesda game. I think that you know, there's a lot of I do think that you know, with I think the one thing that I think people are forgetting about with Starfield, and again, this goes back to that 4K 30 FPS the commentary I've seen about that game on consoles. Now I'll be playing it on PC, which means I'll probably get more than 30 FPS because that's the definitive version of play. But the one thing that I'll say is, you know, this game, in just terms of sheer scope, people aren't taking that into account when they're tearing down this game for being 30 FPS. And I hope that makes sense, because developers, based on however a game is designed and what the developer's trying to accomplish, will put things in different resources, right? See, Bender's saying, is it really 30 FPS on Xbox? It is. Yeah, that's what they're saying. But let's think about the scope. I mean, people are comparing, the linear type SIE games to this game, where those games may have higher FPS. We got to remember, though, those games are also smaller in scale. Again, scale is important here when discussing these Bethesda games. And when you think about Bethesda games and what they've done, and you go back to Elder Scrolls Morrowind, one of the things that, when you think about just sheer size and scale of these games, I mean, you can pretty much interact with anything and everything in a room or on the planet. The NPCs in these games, they're basically living their lives and just moving forward with their daily life, regardless of whether or not you're interacting with these NPCs, which is very different from a more linear game where that NPC and how they react is triggered based upon your interaction with them, your dialogue. That's not happening in these games. Behind the scenes, if you will, these games the NPCs are very much living their lives. Their worlds are going on with or without you. And so these events, if you think about, living NPCs in multiple planets and just moving forward, that is just on a much grander scale compared to what Bethesda's done with, Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Fallout. I mean, this is basically taking what they've done and just taking it to the next level. And so think about this. You have these living NPCs that are living on multiple planets and just moving forward with their day-to-day lives. Their lives aren't stopping. They're continuing doing whatever it is they're doing. They're doing whether or not you're at that planet or not. So those events have to be incremented and tracked. And there could be some cloud server-based implementation of how they do that, but again, people are forgetting about the scope of this game, and that's kind of why I'm a little, puzzled that, that's why I'm a little puzzled by the 30 FPS. Like Bender's saying, I get all that BRAP, but going back to 30 FPS is hard after playing so many 30 FPS games. It really is, or 60. Yeah, Bender, I get that, but again, I mean, this is the scope of this game. They are trying to do things, and not everything is. It's interesting with consoles. Like, people are talking about 60 FPS, and look, if you want a 30 FPS plus experience in this game, you're going to have to go on hardware that's more demanding. I mean, this game is, and I go back to Elder Scrolls Morrowind. That game was very demanding on the original Xbox hardware, and there was things that had to be scaled back because they couldn't run. They couldn't run that game on, or they couldn't do some of the things they wanted to do. So, I think that 30 FPS. I don't think that's going to take away from the enjoyment of this game. I just think the sheer scale, and I would say, if anyone who's played Skyrim or Fallout, those games weren't 60 FPS. Did that take away from your enjoyment? I understand 60 FPS is going to be a thing that a lot of people talk about with current gen consoles, but look, realistically, these consoles are limited. This isn't a situation where you have a high-end gaming rig. You have a $500 piece of hardware, and you're going to have games that, because of sheer scope and these large worlds and design and more complex AI, where maybe more resources need to go into that, you're going to have situations where these games are 30 FPS. And I don't necessarily think that that's the end of the world. I don't think anyone's going to necessarily enjoy this game any less. I know people that were playing, Forza, not Forza, but Horizon Forbidden West, in graphical fidelity mode, and that's at 30 FPS because they wanted the full graphical fidelity of that game. And I would toggle back and forth between 30 and 60 FPS. And after, when you start playing a game 30 FPS, after a while, you get used to it. So, I just don't. I think this is kind of a nothing burger, to be honest with you. I go back to just the sheer scale and scope of this game, and people forgetting that that Bethesda is directing resources into these worlds to create these worlds that are alive. And again, these worlds that are alive, whether you're interacting with these NPCs or not, their lives are going on. Those worlds are alive and happening. So yeah, you know, see, fresh. I've heard people say about the gameplay shooting. If you're expecting, you know, Call of Duty level type of shooting mechanics or even Halo Infinite, you're not going to find it in a Bethesda game. I mean, the Bethesda games are really about really creating your own narrative experience. You are in charge. You are creating this character from the scratch. You're, you know, selecting their appearance, their hair, what they look like. You are in control of your story. You are exploring this huge world at your own pace, right? You are doing the things you want to do. There's a lot of freedom. And so yeah, the gunplay is not going to be the focal point of. It's going to be serviceable, but I wouldn't expect anything based on previous Bethesda games to be like, holy shit, the gunplay mechanics are just like, wow. No, you're going to get very basic, serviceable gunplay, because that's not the focus of these games. It's the experience, the narrative that the player's creating for themselves. That is the focal point. What's up, Strictly Gaming? So that's the focal point of Bethesda games. I mean, and you know, I've seen a lot of people talk about that this character is not going to have dialogue again. That the protagonist, your character, is not going to have any speaking dialogue. Again, that's not unusual for any other Bethesda game. There was some dialogue in Fallout 4, but even that was very limited. And again, they're not going to put dialogue in a game because it would limit it would really limit it would make it more of a linear experience than this massive open world experience. And imagine trying to voice act all the different things and all the different interactions you're having with a world that big, right? So what's up, Jez? Yeah, Jez, you know what? You said 30 instead. I mean, look, that's going to be something that hopefully they polish. Again, look, I think this is going to be a game that you're not going to want to play this on a Series S. Series X, if you have a PC, PC's probably going to be the place to play Starfield to have the best experience, in my opinion. Yeah, X-Habit says all Fallout 4 dialogue was voiced, which fans of the franchise got annoyed about because you have fewer options compared to old Fallout games. That's true, and actually, a lot of people were annoyed by that. So, all right, so here we go. Show's starting off right now.
Hey, we are a small snippet of Squanch Games, and we are here to tell you how excited we are to be a part of the Microsoft Games Show Extended.
Game Showcase Extended.
You know, Game Showcase Extended. What's the need for the extended? Why add that extra word?
It's like,
is there one that's not extended? And that's why?
We're getting nods. There is a not extended one. Okay.
And that one's just called without the extended.
So that's just called
there's the normal one. I know what this is. Yeah. Well, hey, look, we're happy to be a part of it nonetheless.
All right, let's see here. What we got a gameplay trailer here? What is this? All right, here we go. This is the intro of the showcase. Xbox Showcase. Xbox Game Showcase Extended. Double kill. Yeah, X-Habit, I'm not expecting any huge announcements. This is just taking a look at some of the stuff we saw Sunday and more deep dives. So the next 12 months of Xbox is interesting. I mean, I think from a marketing standpoint, it's clearly because they They don't have anything for 2022, which is fucking mind-boggling to me. Like, how do you not have any first-party games 2022? You haven't had any series only exclusive games, and I don't want to hear that. Sorry, I don't think, and the developer for Flight Simulator said that it's not a game either. But you haven't had any exclusive games for the series consoles. You haven't had a defining game for the Series X that made you say, I need to go out and buy Series X. So that's really highlighted all the hype that Microsoft, all the hype that Microsoft, or how hype, or how much, I should say, I need more coffee, clearly. They haven't shown a game that really lives up to the hype of the Series X, is what I'm trying to say, in terms of the 12 teraflops, the velocity architecture. That's an issue I have with Microsoft.
Welcome to Xbox Games Showcase Extended. I'm Aaron, this is Malik, and we have the honor of diving deeper into some of the most exciting and talked about announcements, as well as gameplay from the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase just 2 days ago. For the first time ever, the entire showcase was focused on games you can play over the next 12 months.
That's right, Aaron. You saw world premiere gameplay from Redfall and Starfield. And today, we've got Bethesda's own Pete Hines right here to tell us more. You'll hear from the renowned developers behind the brand new Xbox franchise, Our History Untold.
You know, Floyd, and that's the thing. I mean, people are like, it's funny, people,
so much more.
People conflate bias, by the way, with criticism. My criticism on Microsoft is based on the expectations they set with me as the consumer.
Bill Spencer.
It eats monsters for men. 12 teraflops. And from a historical perspective, anytime, if you look at the original Xbox and the Xbox 360, when they talked up the console hardware for those,
events like this,
for those consoles, there were games that showed what the hardware was capable of. We haven't seen that just yet with Series X.
Myself included. Gaming has this unique ability to bring people together.
Oh, that was Italian Clowns.
From the aliens or winning a football game. It's so great. I love hearing from people. What did you like in the show? Those conversations with people that are here about areas that they like.
Big shout out to Southbound. Haven't seen him in a while.
I think that's something that drives us. You saw it in the show today. People said, we want to see more gameplay. And so we said, okay, great. So you're going to see a ton of gameplay.
Yeah, I think this is our biggest lineup ever in terms of just diversity of different kinds of games from different kinds of teams, different genres.
There's some franchises, Japanese franchises, don't always come to Xbox. We've been working on that. Today, we obviously have Persona.
It's important to us. We not only have all the games.
Persona was definitely a big get for them.
But also great independent.
It doesn't move the needle, I think, in terms of. I think getting people to jump over to Xbox. But I think it's.
He's got this really great idea.
Where it has impact is that they are getting.
I know we say like experience
more support
he's building video
from
games.
Japanese developers.
Real
I think it's important.
That he wants to
some more diversity, diverse games.
Okay, let's go do something together. And I'm just really proud to be in an industry that can be part of so many people coming together.
Console launch exclusive. Looks like a new game. I don't think they showed this game at the event.
Bethesda opened the showcase with a dramatic gameplay demo for Redfall and closed it with Todd Howard showing us how deep the rabbit hole goes on Starfield. And we also got a sneak peek at upcoming expansions for Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. Here to break it all down for us is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Pete Hines from Bethesda. Pete, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So about a month ago, you all announced some delays for both Redfall and Starfield. So I wanted to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about the decision-making process for that.
Absolutely. Look, with all the time that goes into a game, it would be foolish to rush it out the door before it's ready. I think we have continued to sort of examine how we think about games and making sure that they are going to meet our players' expectations. Obviously, the last 2 years have really challenged us from a development standpoint. How we work now largely remotely, while a lot of our folks are not back in the office. And, that has an impact. I also think we've been thinking about things like release dates and when do we give those out and how do we make sure we give one out that we actually hit and don't have to change later.
Jez,
it's
check
not
your
something
DMs,
we
sir.
undertake lightly, but at the end of the day, I think what our fans expect, what Xbox fans, what Bethesda fans expect is a high quality game, and we want to do everything we can to give our teams the time to fully realize the games they're making.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's all about, right? Like delivering an amazing experience for the players out there. And so speaking of games, we're just going to jump into it. We're going to start with how the showcase started with
Sounds good.
Redfall. Now, before we even get into the game, Arcane's making the game. And I want you to talk a little bit about the pedigree of Arcane, just in case people don't know.
Sure.
These folks over there, they're doing their thing.
Arcane Studios is known for really amazing, immersive sims. They do any number of things. If you play games of theirs, Dishonored 2, Prey, there's a lot of common threads you'll find in them. They create really amazing, believable
Dishonored's
worlds.
a
I think that's a big part of their
franchise.
game is
Highly
when
recommend
you're
it if you
in
haven't played it yet.
Dunwall or you're up on a space station in Prey, that it feels believable. There's a reason why things are the way they are. They're also a big believers in systems-based as opposed to scripted. So they really embrace player freedom and sort of giving players the tools to decide, you figure out how you want to complete this mission or get through this area. We're not going to tell you how. We're just going to give you tools and then give you the freedom to go and do. But, there's great characters and interesting story. They bring a lot of different elements and then really let the player create the experience they want.
And that's what it's all about. Gamers have taken many games and made it their own. And I think the fact that Arcane is making the game with that in mind is super important. Now, how similar or dissimilar would you say this game, Redfall, is from the other Arcane games?
Look, on the surface, it's a first-person shooter that you can play solo or with up to 4 players. And so immediately you might say, well, it's not a single-player game, so it must be wildly different. And don't get me wrong, there's absolutely ways in which it is different, but I think when folks play the game, and even when they see more of the game, I think they'll start to see all of those things about an Arcane game that they love and appreciate. Why it's won multiple Action Game of the Year awards for Dishonored 2, is their ability to bring all of those things together, really high level of polish and let folks experience it. And so I think all of those things we talked about. If you want to play a game by yourself and get a great Arcane story, you can absolutely do that in Redfall. But you can also do things that you haven't been able to do in an Arcane game, like experience it with friends and find out sort of how the whole can become greater than the sum of the parts, like playing it off of each character's abilities. You saw some of that in the demo that we showed. I think the more that people appreciate that, you almost are going to want to try and play Redfall a couple of different ways. You might want to play it by yourself a little bit, play it with others, and it's a game that allows you to do either or both of those things, however you see fit.
I'm glad you talked about playing with friends, because I'm taking applications for friends to help me get through Redfall.
Can I put my name on that list? I'm down to a little.
Pete, send me a friend's invite. I was a big Xbox Live beta tester.
All right, we need to go explore Redfall together.
Send me an invite,
I'm
man.
excited. I can't wait for that.
The gamer tag is Aries.
About the game. Now, between the trailer that we saw last year at the reveal, as well as this one that we just saw, I feel like Redfall reminded players of other co-op shooters. Like,
everyone, please
Left 4
hit that
Dead,
like
for
button if you
example.
haven't done so already.
What makes Redfall unique?
Again, it's one of those things, like if you watch just like combat footage, you might look at Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or any of these things and go, oh, I see multiple characters facing a bunch of enemies, and so it's the same game. But I think that would be doing a disservice, that it's all of the things that take place in between the combat as well as the combat itself, sort of combining different skills and abilities and the way that you do, Layla dropping down an elevator using her powers that Jacob can use to get up top on a roof and provide cover. You have different characters who play roles really well, how you choose to use Brebone, the robot, all of those things come into, again, allowing the players not to say, here's a set of rules and you can only use, no, here's just some stuff that you can go off into this amazing sort of dynamic, ever-changing world and sort of experience and explore for yourself. And you come back the next day and it'll
do you all think it's very
feel like a
Borderlands-ish,
different experience, even though you're in the exact same part of the game. I mean, I think those are the kinds of things that Arcane does that really bring that sort of extra special element that makes their game so compelling.
Yeah, compelling and fresh. So I'm excited for Redfall, and you said it here for everyone to see that we're going to be playing together. So I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
You got the proof. All right.
Can't wait.
Oh, awesome. So let's talk about Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I want to talk about the team philosophy because I hear that the team is actually banned from saying things like, now is the perfect time to play.
My least favorite saying is there's never been a better time to play a game. Like, we all say that. Yes, games always get better. We know that. The thing that we love about where Elder Scrolls Online is going is their ability to continually refresh the experience for players, provide new experiences,
actually
like going to
have a
High
Star
Isle, a
Wars
place
game
they've
in
never
the
been
works.
in. An
Could
Elder
be-
Scrolls
could be
game,
something
it does
that's
a lot
being
of
done,
things like story and
by
intrigue. There's a lot of
ZeniMax
politics in
Online,
High Isle, different factions,
which is their
and
studio
the
that's
conflict
headquartered
that's
right
going on
outside
there. And
Baltimore,
again,
Maryland.
a way that you can
They-
jump in
they-
and
they
play
did,
it by yourself and experience it
they did
by
actually
yourself,
create
even
a
though it's an
new,
MMO. But the real
a new
special
team
sauce of
within
Elder Scrolls Online
ZeniMax
is our
Online that they were
amazing
hiring
community.
for about a
They're
year
so
ago.
welcoming. They're so helpful. If
I'm
you
not
need
sure
a
if
little
they're
bit of
done
help, if
hiring
you need
that
a lot
team,
of help,
but,
they're there for you to help
but they
explain,
were hiring quite a
to
bit
make sure you have a fun experience.
that
And
new
honestly,
team,
like
for
that
new
is
studio,
such a
if you will.
huge part for an online game of creating an environment where anybody, no matter whether you just started playing or you've been playing for 8 years, can have a good experience no matter how you decide to engage with it.
I love that you mentioned that. Community is as you mentioned, is such a huge part of any online game. And so for players who may not have played Elder Scrolls, who are, like you said, looking to jump in, to know that they have that community backing them, that's going to help them guide them in their journey is super exciting. So, but I want to talk about Fallout a little bit.
Okay.
Huge milestone recently, 25 years of Fallout. It can rent a car even now. At this point, right? We're talking about it. All right. So this has to mean something super special to the team.
Absolutely. And look, we are as aware of anybody. Like this franchise did not start with Bethesda. It's one that we took on along the way. And our intent is not just to pay homage to like Bethesda Fallout. Like, no, we mean all Fallout, because what this series has done, what it meant to us as players when we went and played those games, played the original Fallout 2, and then what the franchise has become and sort of growing and finding
Supreme
an even,
Samurai, they,
a new audience with
Deathloop,
Fallout 3,
it's
Fallout
still,
4,
it's,
Fallout
it's,
New Vegas,
it's
Fallout 76 is something
the
we
deal
really
doesn't run
want
out till
to
September,
celebrate.
so
And
they can't talk
honestly,
about it.
that, what's going
somebody
on
has
in
the
Fallout
deal right now,
76
so
with the pit and your
you're not going to
ability
hear
to
anything about
continue to push the boundaries in an online
Deathloop for some
game
time.
of story and meaningful player choice. And as you're going along, making decisions that kind of matter and have a real impact, I think is important in the evolution of Fallout 76. And just honestly, how far that game has come from its launch. Like, we're keenly aware of how that launch went, but we are also keenly aware of the incredible amount of effort and dedication from all of our teams across Bethesda to say, like, we believe in this thing and we want to give the fans more of what they want and the kind of experiences that they want. And where Fallout 76 is now is truly remarkable when you go back and look at sort of where we were and how far we've come, and honestly, how much cool stuff is in store in the pit. It's going to be super fun.
Excited to jump in. And again, that's one of those things that I'm sure you guys attribute to the community, giving that feedback.
That 76 community, again, not just in the game, but what they do for each other, to support other folks in the community, what they have done to raise funds for worthwhile causes. Like, it's not just an amazing group of gamers, it's an amazing group of human beings, and honestly, one that we're honored to interact with and be a part of every day.
I love that, Pete. Before you make me cry, we're going to move on to Starfield, all right?
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about it. Starfield, ended the show. I got to say, watching the trailer, breathtaking. It's one of those things from the different locations and just seeing the difference between that moon versus the populated city, just amazing. The dog fighting, just everything was so awesome. The team really outdid themselves.
It's one of those things about a Bethesda Studios game that I always love, and has been the case, honestly, since, I worked on Morrowind and Oblivion and all those games that, we talked about. And for every single one, you cannot pin people down to, oh, it's about this, because it's not. Like, ultimately what those games are massive sandboxes where they give players just ridiculous amounts of freedom to say, you go figure out what kind of game you want to play and what kind of experience you want to have, because that's what this game is about. It's not us prescribing and saying, you have to do these things. And like, no, it's about creating this huge sandbox with over 1,000 planets so you can completely explore and say, yeah, but you don't have to. Like, it's entirely up to you to figure out what is fun for me. Do I want story? Do I want to join factions? Do I want to, build outposts and gather resources to build more cool stuff? The team really puts all of those tools in the player's hands and step back and says, now it's time for you to tell the story of Starfield, which is your story, which is going to be different than mine, which is going to be different than everybody else's. And I think that's really where the magic of a Bethesda Game Studios game happens.
And that's what I was saying. What Pete just described is what I was
this is what an
discussing earlier
is. Before the show started. Define an epic
in terms
RPG
of scope,
as.
right?
I think again, it's sort of leaning into.
You can define the kind of story or experience you want.
A lot of
in this game, no different than
approaches
other
on what does an
Bethesda
open world
games,
mean. And Bethesda Game Studios always pushes themselves to the most freedom and least limitations, right? Where the items in the world are all real things. You walk into a store and there's a bunch of weapons or whatever. Like, that's not just art on a countertop. Like, you could pick those up. You could steal them and run out of it. You can create chaos. Like, we don't want to put too many limits on what the player is or isn't allowed to do.
So this is funny when people do this kind of stuff. He's like, wow, the concept of open world, mind-blowing.
And then they
fucking play it
get to see, like, oh my Lord, chaos ensued and it was insanity. Everybody was shooting at me. And like, that's, I think, the beauty of Bethesda Game Studios and the number of ways that they push for you to explore that, right? It's not just one, it's you could spend thousands of hours doing nothing but shipbuilding.
Saber,
and like
no, you can't get the version without the ugly graphics because again,
but you could also be about exploring every planet and finding all of the good.
A massively open world game that's still alive.
I want to kind of experience
has AI running in the background.
So that I kind of get
you're not
going to
get that from
Bethesda
games.
I might stop here and there. Oh, there's a cool side quest that I got, but
you are going to get a very immersive
sort of
world.
Leads me through because I'm a little. You're also going to be a little daunting to say you can go do whatever I want. Like, ooh, I don't know what I should do. So
you're going to get a different experience.
Some folks want a little bit of a guided path to understand where the fun is, and no approach is wrong. Like, for me, that's epic because it says we aren't putting any limits on what you can or can't do. We're going to set you loose and just sit back and watch the beauty that you create with your own stories and the way that you solve problems or choose to spend your time in this world we've created.
I love that. And I
want to know more about the factions in this game.
Those moments
there are different factions
you experience that I don't. Like, those are some of the best.
That's obviously going to happen. And that's no different from like Fallout. I mean, you can join different factions in Fallout.
Did you see that? No, I didn't see that. Where did you see it? And having them go out and find it. So I think that's going to be one of those things.
We talk about that a lot, that sort of water cooler moment. Of like, you come in the next day and you talk to everybody about what you did. And you were like, wait, I did that quest, but I did this completely different thing. And you sort of start to appreciate all of the choices that you could have made. You didn't even realize were an option. Like, oh, I didn't even think about doing that. Like, oh yeah, I just ran in and stole his ship and shot all of his crew members and took off. Like, you can do that? Like, oh yeah, you can do anything. Like that. I think that is a special part of a Bethesda Game Studios game. And when we say epic RPG, we mean all of the stories, all of them.
All right, you just gave me some ideas for stealing people's ships, so I appreciate that. That's going to be
what Pete's describing in terms of that freedom of choice in
Bethesda
quite a bit
of combat and action in the game.
People having different experiences,
in addition to exploring and everything. That seems to be another huge focus of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, look, if you look at a game like Skyrim, which like everybody's played Skyrim at this point.
I mean, Skyrim was
a combat is a big part of that. Unless you decide it's not. Like, if you're one of those folks that says, actually, I'm going to do the alchemy thing and I just go off and pick flowers and make potions and like live another life in another world this way, then combat isn't part of it. But look, we know in an epic RPG, there's always bad people, shooting at you. Sometimes you got to return fire, and there's a lot of fun to be had there. And so, providing a lot of different skills that sort of determine how good you are in combat.
I mean, shooting looks very much
with
like
all the different weapons in the game, and then you layer in ship combat and all of these other things. It starts to sort of paint a picture of just how broad or how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's going to be so impressive. And you touched on it a little bit, and I want to talk about it because this was when I'm watching the video, the demo, what I saw, and it really caught my eyes around the ship. It's not just getting in the ship and that's your ship. There's so much behind it. Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, like every ship is customizable to the nth degree, and not just like cosmetically I want my ship to look like this or look like that, though obviously that's totally a thing that you could do if all you care about is cosmetics. But it goes much deeper than that in terms of like what kind of shields you have, what kind of weapons you have, like what kind of ship are you building? What do you want it to be good at? What trade-offs are you willing to make or not?
I like that. This is like Mass Effect on steroids.
Well, you can't
the
just
customization
like,
of
it's a spaceship. Those aren't cheap. So you have to figure out like, how am I going to do this? Where do I get the resources to build this stuff? What kind of, skills do I need to level up to improve different parts of my ship beyond,
in terms of mining,
what I could do without
materials
those skills.
on planets.
There's a lot of,
upgrade
again, choices in terms of you get to decide that, how much you want to put into that or not. Do you just want to give somebody money for the parts that you want? Do you want to build it? All of those things are sort of part of the fun of deciding how much do you want to interact with this and how do you want to interact with it?
Absolutely. I mean, just as you mentioned, the scope, the level of player agency, something
There's
that
that word,
like
scope,
just makes Starfield such a special experience. So between Redfall, ESO, Fallout 76, and Starfield, you all are just
we got a few
killing the
games
game.
coming. Yeah, we got a few games coming out.
It's going to be so great. Pete, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, Pete. Now, coming up, we'll hear from our friends around the world, including Squanch Games, Obsidian Entertainment,
yes, the
Playground
planets do
Games,
have
and of
different
course,
ecosystems.
Xbox fans like you. But first, let's hear from the creators of one of the world's most popular Battle Royale games.
Naraka Bladepoint.
大家好，我是永劫无间制作人关磊。
We are glad to share Naraka Bladepoint, a unique online multiplayer action game with players all around the globe. As a NetEase studio, 24 Entertainment is joining hands with Microsoft to bring Naraka Bladepoint to consoles for the first time. You could play the game on Xbox Series X and S, as well as Windows next week. We're also joining Xbox Game Pass, a platform with a huge player base and a vast, bright future. Naraka has been so well received on the PC platform. I am so grateful to the players for their love and support. As a competitive survival game incorporating a lot of action elements, Naraka features a range of characters with unique personalities. Each hero draws from different civilizations and cultures.
All right, so Naraka's coming to Xbox Series consoles next week and Windows PC.
You've got a wealth of melee and ranged weapons to choose from.
Game Pass.
A vast map filled with interactive elements to explore. Perhaps you'll engage your foes in samurai combat, katanas at the ready, or maybe you'll use Persian assassin techniques and strike from afar. With your grappling hook, you can fly between temple walls and across bamboo forests with ease. Beyond solo endeavors, you can also party up with friends and use group tactics to flatten your foes. That's Naraka's underlying design philosophy, that you're unchained and have the freedom to choose how you play. Collect soul jades to change how you play, transform your katana strikes, and make your cannon a weapon of mass destruction.
So Naraka is actually
customized
$20 right
Whether
now
you want
on
to
Steam.
Rush into battle as a berserker warrior,
but it's going to be going to Game Pass here
fireballs as a
on
sorcerer.
PC and consoles.
The choice is yours. We can't forget to mention our unique face customization system too.
Chalice
You'll
is
never
already
need
set to
worry
download.
about running into a doppelganger on the battlefield, because you're able to edit your hero's features to your heart's content. You can even
I'm
recreate
not sure,
your favorite
Chalice, if it's
faces.
coming to PlayStation or not.
As we approach Naraka's first launch anniversary, we're introducing a brand new weapon, the Twin Blades, releasing together with the Xbox and Game Pass editions. Twin Blades strike with the speed of a raging tempest and sweeping blows. We've seen similar weapons in other games, but here in Naraka, it comes with a style all its own. Charging up strikes is usually a high-risk, high-reward move.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the stream just
you can
not
charge up while moving.
doesn't
Keep your
translate well
momentum
to
as you unleash a flurry of
StreamYard,
combos
unfortunately.
on foes.
So that's
Since
why you're
its
seeing that
release,
stutter.
Naraka Bladepoint has launched its own faction clash game mode. with
B-Stable, it's
Omni's
a battle
Nightmare
royale game.
and the thrilling limited time mode.
So you got different
Shadow
character
Soul.
classes from
There have been many
different
casual modes to play
civilizations
as well,
that you can use that have different
but
skill
our community
sets.
has eagerly asked for a campaign mode. We're always listening to our player base. and we're happy to announce that the wait is over.
Okay, so we're getting a campaign
Players
now.
will see the first chapter of our campaign mode. Form teams of 3 to take on new enemy types and massive bosses. Disarming a boss won't be as easy as disarming another player, though. PvP and campaign mode are 2 entirely different games. Further campaign chapters are also in the works, so we're eager to hear any feedback you have for us. We are also working on an Xbox One version and hope to see more players join Naraka later this year.
Oh, wow. So there's going to be an Xbox One
Naraka is
version of the
launching
game.
on Xbox Series X and S and Windows Store on June 23rd, and it's included with Game Pass at launch day. Now's your chance to dive into the world of Naraka Bladepoint.
快来体验我生无拘吧！
History is filled with moments of greatness. Some well-known, some lost to time. But what about the history that could have been if you were its architect? How would you reshape the world? What new stories would you tell? And when your people speak, would you listen? How would you lead them in this new world? History is filled with moments of greatness, but these will be yours.
I mean, we saw this on Sunday. I mean, I'm wondering if they're going to give us more of a deep dive.
I'm excited to welcome our friends from Oxide Games for a closer look at their historical grand strategy game for PC called Aura History
That
Untold.
makes sense that they're going to have them talk about
Michelle,
it.
thank you two for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
And on behalf of the entire studio, we are really excited to be here and finally be able to talk about Aura.
I mean, we all are excited too. You just had the world premiere 2 days ago for Aura. And I have to say, I'm a really, really big history fan. I love me some history. So I've been looking forward to talking to you two about this. Now, we all know this is not your first strategy game, but the vision behind Aura is so ambitious. So tell us more about it. And also for those who are new to Oxide Games, we would love to hear more about the studio as well.
So Oxide Games was founded 9.5 years ago in my basement, actually, from the development leads of Civilization V. And our goal is to push strategy games to the next level.
And what's really great about working on a new IP is that you don't have kind of these previous expectations that a sequel would have. And so the sky really was the limit, and we got to really take the genre to a new space. And we really hope that not only will fans of strategy games like this, but people who've never played a strategy game before will find something they love as well.
You're absolutely taking it to the next level. I think I saw like a drone was in like the 18th century or something like that. It's very, very fascinating. And I think that like, if you're someone who really enjoys history, it's bringing like all of the worlds together, all the periods of time together. And that's a grand vision in itself. So how does the vision of Aura impact the player experience within the game?
So one of the kind of big things we wanted to do with Aura was really explore how to make the game less about finding that optimal strategy, that optimal path, and really bring in ways to make it more meaningful to the player, make it unique to themselves. So what are different kinds of choices we can bring to the player so that when you play, it's different than when I play, and yet we can both be competitive together? How can we do things to really impact agency and expression and really let you express your values and your play styles through the different mechanics in the product?
And Dan, what about you? How does the vision impact the overall experience?
So one of the big things that we've been working on is what we call the living world. We wanted the expression of the game to manifest itself in a way that felt authentic and cool. So we've spent a lot of effort on making sure that the choices that you make are expressed in a visual way. And so you're going to see your citizens doing things that reflect the choices that you've made. And this is actually really challenging. So one of the goals when we founded Oxide was to not have to tell the designers, no, you can't do that thing. And so the game is obviously huge. It's just massive.
I mean, just
and
showing,
so a very
recapping
large
things they showed,
technological
and then
constraint for
having
doing
these
something like
developer
that. But we have our own
conversations,
proprietary engine that allows us to
deep
really
dives.
bring this alternate Earth to life.
I think that's the beauty, right? Because in history, the great thing about learning history is that you learn about culture, you learn about stories, you learn about things that are
So this is the kind of show I think Game Logic would actually like. He says he prefers these kind of shows where the developer comes out and discusses the game, goes into
I'm
a little
excited
more.
to get my hands on it, and I'm sure everyone else is who's watching. So let us know, where can we learn more about it, and when can we get our hands on it? Because I need it today.
So if you head over to the website, you can sign up for the Insider program, which will give you a chance to join the technical alpha and play the game later this summer, which is super exciting because we've been playing it, all the time. And so now you'll have a chance to play.
Okay,
Dan,
so alpha's
Michelle,
this summer.
thank you
Okay, cool.
so much for giving us the lowdown on Aura. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Anyone interested in this game?
Grounded is finally leaving early access and moving into full release with a highly anticipated story mode. Here's Adam Brennicky and Eric Dorabella
I'm not interested
from
in
Obsidian
Grounded
Entertainment.
whatsoever.
Tell us more.
Just not my kind of game.
What can players expect from the 1.0 launch of Grounded?
The big one, of course, is going to be a complete game, and that means story, right? From beginning to end, you can play through.
Given
why
Obsidian's
are you
pedigree,
here?
I just feel like
Who put
this
you
isn't
here?
the kind of game that
How
I
are
would
you going
like
to
to
get
see
home?
from them.
I think
So
those are the big questions that people are asking about Grounded. Originally, we really just wanted to make a survival game, and one of the jokes was, "Hey, what if we did backyard survival?" Everyone was like, "Yeah, that's a very unusual idea." But I think there's something there.
please hit that like button, everyone. We got
one of the things that we did early
70 people
on
here
was
watching.
establish the art style of Grounded. Things
Smash
started
that like
coming to life
button.
as we
Smash
did
it.
the initial prototypes and seeing some of the cool things, like the first
Yeah,
time we
Talos,
added,
I could
the
see
spider
this
into
game
the
not
yard,
being
and
fun
seeing
solo,
the
man.
reactions of people
Definitely,
in the office,
probably
like even
better
like
with
jump
friends, for
scares, like
sure.
people screaming. The team is very small. It's the smallest team I've ever worked on at Obsidian. I wanted everyone to be able
So it
to
looks like
participate
they got
on
a
the
very
design
small
side
team
of
at
things. So I said everyone is a
Obsidian working on
designer
this.
on the
Okay.
team.
I mean, I kind
And
of figured
think
as
that
much
extends
given the scope of the
into
project.
our community and how we're building the game in game preview and early access.
That's probably one of the big successes of the game, is how close we work with the community and take all their feedback and suggestions. I think it's super rad.
For a game developer too, that is a huge thing, just to get people's feedback constantly of what they're liking, what they're not liking, and all those adjustments just make a much better game at the end of the day. We're at that point now that the yard's getting finished, and now we can play through the story. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of things that I think players aren't going to expect. And I
think I know what you're talking about. And I cannot wait to see players' reactions. I know a lot of players are just waiting for the story to be finished to finally jump into the game. People who played the game previously are also like holding out for more content. I think it's just going to pull a lot of people back in and gain a lot of new players. So Adam, we have
Talos, this game really scared you,
last year
man?
was like our first big boss. And
More
then
than
we
some
came
of the
out with a
horror
bunch of
games you
mini
played?
bosses, like
Wow.
Termite Kings.
I guess the spiders, I guess. I don't know.
But in this trailer, we're showing players the Mantis. What can they expect from this?
So we're super excited to finally show off the Mantis. And I know that's been a big ask from players that they want to see a praying mantis in the game.
They've been asking for this for a long
Yeah.
time. Do we have anything else that the players can get excited about?
The mantis is just a little tease of one of the new boss fights, but there's more to come, right? Like potentially many boss fights that we have planned for the full release of Grounded. There's a lot more secrets and other things to uncover.
When we reached 5 million players, that was already super crazy. And then we hit the next milestone of 10 million players still being Xbox.
Doubling it, right?
Yeah, in Xbox Game Preview Early Access.
That just goes to show that we have a fantastic game. Everyone's just so surprised at like how much Grounded has grown.
I just hope that players and the community understand how important they are and impactful on this game with us.
We're so thankful for everyone's support along the way. It's been an amazing journey, and we're finally almost at the finish line, right?
Yeah.
And I think we wouldn't be here without our amazing community and all of the fan support.
I agree. Best community ever. Yeah.
So I got a call from my good friend York Newman, the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator. He told me it was imperative that I meet with him. So I'm in this helicopter, we're flying to this location, we're on our way, let's go.
Oh, wow, they got Paris and Baltimore, Maryland. That's Baltimore, by the way. He was flying over Washington, D.C., but that's Baltimore.
Paris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming to D.C., man.
No, thank you. What am I doing here?
Later. Let's get in. We don't have much time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now they're back in D.C.
All right,
That's
Chris.
interesting. He
Buddy,
landed in
Buddy,
Baltimore.
Buddy,
Now he's in
contact
D.C.
us.
now.
Are we headed towards Arlington?
It's still secret. I'm sorry.
He's heading towards the Pentagon.
York, what is this place?
Oh, you'll see. Let's go.
Oh, that's the Air and Space Museum in Dulles, Virginia. So there's two Air and Space Museums. There's one in downtown D.C., and that's the one in Dulles. That's the big one that has the IMAX movie theater in it.
Wow, look at this place.
It's got a space shuttle in there.
Nick, how's it going?
Hello.
Paris, I would like to introduce Nick Partridge from the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum.
Thank you for having me. But this makes a lot of sense. I saw during the trailer there's a collaboration between the Smithsonian
Air and
National
Space
Air and
Museum is
Space
actually
Museum
really cool.
and Flight Simulator. Here we are at the National Air and Space Museum. So let's talk about that collaboration. Tell me more about that.
Well, Jorg and I have been talking for more than a year. He was looking for me, and it turns out I was looking for him to ask the same question, which was, don't you think that our organizations have a lot in common, dedicated to bringing flight to everyone? And
I was looking for the Spirit of St. Louis, which is in the Smithsonian ever since 1928. And the Smithsonian was gracious enough. They gave us a millimeter perfect scan, which is what we'll feature in the 40th anniversary edition. But as Nick and I kept talking, it was very clear, the world's foremost museum for air and space, the Smithsonian. Yeah. And Microsoft celebrating its 40th anniversary. It's a match made in heaven, and there's lots of
So
things.
that museum's
to do.
about like 45 minutes from my house where I
accuracy,
live.
access, it's
So
all
I guess
there.
Paris was in the
hoping
neighborhood.
that
Paris,
if everyone
you should
has
hit
as
me
much
up.
fun in the community with the content that we initially collaborated on, a couple of our most historic aircraft, and some of the other aircraft in this center are already in the simulator, maybe we can jump in with both feet and do more in the years to come. Maybe even, who knows, we'll go crazy. We'll put
There's
the
a
space
space shuttle. That thing's huge, by the way.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
All right, you guys have never been here before,
No,
right?
this is my first time.
All right, so keep your eyes peeled, stick together, and Jorg, I've got something special for you right around here.
Perfect. Check this out. This is my favorite plane, the Junkers Ju-52 3-motor. Amazing.
And that is an awesome
I want to
plane.
say they have
As I
the
look at
plane
all
that
the
dropped the
planes around here,
atomic
it makes
bomb
me
on
ask the
Japan
question,
there as well, if I'm
could
not
we put all of
mistaken.
them in Flight Sim?
Maybe not all of them, but we hope a lot of them. In the 40th anniversary that comes out this fall, we already have 3. We have the Wright Flyer, the Spirit of St. Louis, and the DC-3. And we hope to get a few more. As Nick and I were talking, there's a lot of things we could do.
Yeah, we started with the most iconic ones, and who knows? There's no lack of opportunity.
I keep saying amazing because this place is amazing. And just like Flight Sim, it just keeps going. So what else is happening?
It does seem like we're going supersonic, like the Concorde here. We've been doing a major update ever since we launched, every month since August 2020. And just today, we're actually launching World Update 10. And guess what?
No,
Harris,
the Halo ship is not there. I can confirm that.
We have a dozen cities, a new height field, brand new aerials, new missions, new airports.
My overall
new
thoughts on
everything.
Starfield,
And
Lanceville,
as
Paul, I
always,
think it's going to be an
free.
epic Bethesda
And
game.
Check out this
I
beauty.
wouldn't be
This is the
surprised if it's in
Beechcraft Model
conversation
18. They
for
call
one
it
of the better
Twin
games of the
Beach.
year
It's
when
a
it
famous plane,
releases.
and that's also launching today. And it's a great coincidence.
This
It's
is a
actually a huge
traditional
coincidence.
Bethesda
Jorg's been
game. If you
working
look
on
at
that
their
Beechcraft since
previous
before we met, but it's a
quote-unquote
great example of how much we
Bethesda-type
already have in
games.
common.
They tend to
So
be in that
Jorg,
conversation.
what can we expect the rest of the year from Flight Sim?
We have a ton of great things coming up. So today is World Update 10. We have 2 more World Updates, one in August and one in October. And then in November, we have the big 40th anniversary edition which will be an absolute delight.
Don't they have the Concorde in
anyone
Flight
who
Simulator
loves
already?
aviation.
Okay, that 40th anniversary
If it's not there, it
edition.
wouldn't
Tell me more
surprise me
about that.
if
Yeah,
it,
so we're celebrating by bringing back
if it
some of
was
the
there.
planes from the old Sims, like from Flight Sim 10, 9, 8, even before that. And we're restoring some of the old missions, and we're bringing back some of the airports that were in those editions. So it's a real celebration of the franchise.
So this celebration is not only of the franchise, but the
celebration.
past as well.
And we're also adding brand new things on top of it, like that the community really wanted. For example, helicopters. Sobo wrote a brand new fluid dynamic system to make all that work. And we're adding gliders, which is a completely different way to experience the planet. It's just you and the wind.
I still don't understand why they
And then
had
the
Paris
last
fly
one
into
is
Baltimore.
the
Baltimore's
biggest deal for
north of
Simmers,
where he is
a
right
brand
now.
new real-to-life airliner, the A310
I don't
from
get that.
Airbus,
Yeah.
by a brand new partner called IndyBuilds, a great development team. In fact, of the 10 planes we're bringing, most of them are created in collaboration with third parties.
Landing, well, maybe because he
So it's
couldn't
a
land
really
in
cool
Washington,
way for
D.C.,
us
but
to integrate with the creator
could have
community.
landed at Dulles Airport, which
How do
is
I get this?
right
If
down
you're
the
on
street
Game
from there.
Pass, if you
I
already
guess. I
own
don't
Flight
know.
Sim, the 40th anniversary edition is a free upgrade.
This has just been an incredible experience, seeing all these planes and going through the history and everything that's coming to Flight Simulator. I mean, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming to DC. Paris, thank you, Nick, for the great collaboration with the Smithsonian and for kicking off the 40th anniversary edition of Flight Sim. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Today was a good day, but now I have a need for speed. I'm headed to the danger zone, baby.
Madrid.
Estamos aquí para disfrutar del mejor día de mi vida. El día
Estamos
de
aquí para la Xbox. Beso mi
I
culo.
came in Madrid just yesterday to be here in FanFest Xbox, and I'm so excited. Estamos aquí en Madrid para ver nuevos juegos como Starfield. Que yo
Juegos como Starfield y
Me ha encantado y no me lo podía perder. Este es un evento único.
me encanta la Xbox y yo quiero jugar a Halo y beso mi culo.
Why gaming? Just a passion. Es una experiencia única. Me ofrecen algo que no encuentro en otro lado.
Lo que te digo, es como una familia para mí.
Me ha parecido genial y un cierre para un evento así maravilloso.
Just the passion that people have. I feel very welcome.
Hey, we're just a snippet of Squanch Games, and we're here to talk about High on Life, our new action-adventure, comedy, Metroidvania, first-person shooter that is nothing at all, a little bit like Microsoft Excel.
All right, you're a bounty hunter now. You gotta help me rescue my friends. They're Gatlians, just like me.
That's our game, High on Life. Pretty insane. There's a lot to talk about.
Let's dive in. So Justin, you're typically known for working in animation. What brings you into the world of games? Why are you in the world of games?
Yeah. I'm obsessed with games, have been my whole life. Always had ideas, always had, things I would love to make, but just never thought I could ever step into that arena because I lack all the skills needed.
You don't know how
other
games
than
work.
other than like creative direction, creative ideas, like other than that, I lack all the skills to execute.
But that's why, that's part of why you want to start Squanch, right? Is like to be able to have an idea like that and let it grow to something amazing.
And to be able to be creatively free. I wanted to make games that I wanted to play. And that was sort of the spark that just lit the fire of Squanch Games. And then we shipped Trover and we shipped Accounting Plus, and now we're on this absolutely dream game. This is like our real legit swing at like a proper, like we're indie, but like this is like our AAA, or is it triple I for indie?
Yeah. We're triple I.
Yeah. This is a triple I game.
So the story of our game mostly follows like Earth being invaded by this evil criminal cartel of aliens who come in and kidnap humans and start selling them on the black market like they're drugs. And you're the one human who has to team up with a talking gun and stop them.
And when you select a cartel leader that you're going to go after, like it opens the portal door to that world that they're in.
Eric, can you tell us a little bit about the worlds of the game, the art style of the game, the visuals?
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time kind of constructing and creating these awesome alien worlds. Myself and Mikey Spano, who is our art director, him and I worked like a ton on the sort of art direction of the game. He really kind of landed in this space, which was kind of Blade Runner meets the Muppets. So we're trying to capture that feeling with all of our characters, and especially our aliens. And then each world is its own kind of unique flavor, right? I think some of the ideas came from very kind of core thoughts. Like we want to have an awesome alien, like drug-dense spa on an asteroid. And yeah, what makes me really excited is the sort of really clear and like it's almost deceivingly simple narrative, right?
Save the Earth, humans or drugs, talking guns. Ta-da.
So Alec, who are the guns? What's their deal?
The guns are these talking alien Gatlians. They're all shaped somewhat like a gun you'd find on Earth, but they've evolved to be just gun-like in their own way. And so this race of Gatlians each has their own unique personality, their unique set of abilities, and you're going to be rescuing them from this evil alien cartel. And together, you got to stop the bad guys.
And get more Gatlians.
Yeah, collect more Gatlians.
Yeah, a lot of players are going to have very different experiences depending on what gun they favor.
No, Franco, I'm not sleeping,
your
dude.
favorite companion to have that a lot.
I'm not sleeping, but
be part of different.
yeah, I'm just
dialogue
I'm
scenes
hungry,
and
and I'm
stuff.
like,
Look at us, blasting away.
And sometimes
Just
you
waiting
can
for this to be over
unlock the
with.
guns in a different order than another player has. So
That's
when you
right.
go back
Streaming
through a
this for the
level,
people.
you'll see things that you would have been able to access if you'd done it in the other order.
That's
You
so
can come back.
That's a
Yeah.
huge one.
All right, so we've talked about this crazy good game that sounds amazing. Why should people be excited to play it?
As a studio, we are attempting to bring A-level adult comedy into video games.
Something I love about Squanch is we would put a lot of effort into things that a lot of other studios wouldn't even bother with, like a single small joke that 5 players might find.
Well, okay. Now I can.
I love that stuff. I love like edge casing and like
It's what makes you remember a game.
yeah, like if a player's trying to break the game in a certain way and then you have an answer for that for them, that is like such a memorable and amazing moment. It's almost like watching TV, but the viewer is able to reach into the TV and poke a thing, and the character has to respond to that. And there's so much fun to be had. For the
You can
most
skip
part.
it all. We worked really hard on it. If you want to skip it.
Yeah, if you want to just like miss out on like,
Yeah,
some
if you're
of
like
the
a big
coolest-
dummy and you don't want to play the game at all, that's fine. We're not going to judge you. We're just going to be upset.
This is gonna be fun. You know I can't let you leave.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh wow, that was new. I didn't show that at the event Sunday.
Pentiment is a narrative adventure game set
Yeah,
in
I'm not
16th
interested in
century
this game.
Bavaria, which is part of the Holy Roman Empire. You play a character named Andreas Mahler, who is
So
an artist.
this is what I'm
working at a
talking about,
Benedictine
like
abbey.
with
He
the
gets
Xbox
involved in a
marketing,
series of murders and
when they talked
scandals
about,
and tries to unravel them
you know,
over
when
a
they
period
first
of
revealed the
about
Series
25
X,
years.
you know, he eats monsters for
The name
breakfast, 12
Pentiment
teraflops, velocity
is
architecture.
specifically referring to
And then we see
paintings
games
in
like this, which is
there's an
fine. Like,
older
it's okay
painting
to have
underneath
these
the painting
games
that you
in
see on
there.
the top. And if you scrape away
but
the
when
top
you have
layer,
other
you see
games
what
that
was left
show
behind.
the
This has
Series
a bunch
X,
of
the power of the Series
significance.
X, right?
Obviously, you're playing a
When you
painter,
have these
but
games
also
that
it
are
has
like,
a lot of
whoa,
significance to the
look at,
idea of history kind of being covered and
these can
uncovered
be
over time.
You could have these there, but to have these without
when
what
I
just
saw
described in terms of those,
narrative-driven games with really
those
distinctive
big budget
art styles,
titles that
I was
really take
inspired to
advantage
make
of
a
the
historical
hardware
game
and just
that
wow you
focused
visually.
on the unique art style of the early modern period that
That's
was
the
really
issue I
driven
have with
by the
Microsoft right
relationships
now,
between
with the
characters
Xbox.
and the
It's just-
stories that played out over time. Hannah Kennedy was really integral to
I mean, to be
defining
frank,
the art style of Pentiment, especially blending
they really haven't
the
made a
late
case why
medieval
someone would
illuminated
need to go out and buy a
manuscripts
Series
with the
X.
early modern woodcuts.
Yeah, so there's a lot of major points to solve and kind of marry between wanting this to be a true to the history, true
Outside
to the
of if you want
feel
a
of the source
if you
material
want
that we were
higher resolution, higher frames, but
referencing as far as the narrative,
is that
but
worth,
also thinking about
the
the
additional
types of
$200?
games
I don't
that
know.
were like what
Maybe.
we imagined we wanted as far as a gameplay experience.
From the beginning, I knew that I wanted to portray a community that changed over time, which meant that characters are changing over time. That's really the focus of everything. The buildings do change, but really it's the characters where you see all the crazy stuff happen.
Kids that I had become attached to because it's a 4-year-old and we designed them to be a 4-year-old and then they're getting married. And then I felt a weird like emotional reaction to that because I'm like, oh, baby's all grown up.
I think the 16th century has always been really interesting to me because it was a time of such social upheaval in Europe. I think when we look at social change in the past, it seems like it's a thing that always happens outside of our time. But right now, I think we're maybe more aware than ever that social change is happening constantly, and people are always struggling with it. It's always a difficult process. And so I hope that by looking at people from the past, we can see that even though the setting might be different and the specific issues might be different, ultimately, we always struggle with social change.
Just putting on this bandana.
All right, let's do crime.
I thought this game actually looked pretty cool when they showed it on Sunday. I like the aesthetic here.
All you had to do was keep your mouth shut.
I'm gonna override this.
Is your life mission to cause harm?
Yeah. This is my favorite shot of the whole game. This one.
This game actually
With
has.
Astos
I'm
Falls,
actually
what
kind of
we're trying
interested in this
to do
game.
is to
I think
make
it looks
a
cool.
brilliant
I love the
interactive
choices.
experience for anyone who loves brilliant storytelling. So people who enjoy films, people who enjoy TV
It reminds
series.
me of
It's also a social
the
experience
Telltale games
and about
in some ways
sharing
in
these
terms of
stories with the
choices,
people
the
you love.
story.
I think we should stick to the plan.
Yes.
Stick to the plan.
I took my inspiration from TV shows, prestige shows like, Breaking Bad, Fargo. I really love Dog Day Afternoon.
Breaking Bad,
Such
good
a
show.
wonderful
Good show.
setup.
You try that again, and every last one of them leaves in a body bag.
When you write for interactive stories, it's all about the stakes. You want big choices, the tentpole ones that everyone will remember from the chapter they played, but also you weave in the smaller stakes, the drama bit, like the relationships. Are you gonna stay married?
When you lost your job, this wall went up, and I missed you, okay?
The game deals with very mature themes that you don't normally find in a video game. It really gives you agency over characters that are relatable, that are familiar to you. It's like an interactive story, but with the power of video game behind it.
I only gotta yell and my brothers will come. Now hold your horses, young man. I think you should at least listen to what I have to say.
In the first book, it's mainly structured around a hostage
I like this
situation
game.
in a motel
Again,
in
I
the
can
middle
just
of the desert in Arizona,
narrative, the
so it's a
focus
pressure
on
cooker.
You want your
dialogue,
wife to live? Answer.
story
and do
reminds
exactly
me of
what I say.
Book 2 takes another
Stuff from Telltale.
approach entirely, and it's a chase across multiple states in the US.
There's nowhere else to run.
Astos Falls is an interactive show, but the important part here is the word interactive. The players are very much needed to help the character on their journey and decide what's going to happen to them, help them grow and change.
It's not like there's one golden path. There's so many different ways through the story.
You can replay it, and then you get to like different story and different ending, and you feel like you're actually achieving something and shaping the story and also the character.
Some of your true self comes out into that thinking.
Hit that like button, everyone. We got like 70-something people watching.
And at the end of the
You know,
game,
like 4
when you
likes.
play, we tell you about your
Smash the
play
like
style,
button.
and it reveals something about the player themselves, their values, and the way they interact with the others that they played with.
I think for me, one of the really important things was that this art style could tell lots of different types of stories. We want to take really beautiful, sort of subtle facial performances, really strong dramatic moments, and just really represent that such that every frame is a painting.
What's up, Dark Optimus? Hey, Dark, this is the extended showcase. You're just
1 to 8 players, because we want
doing
to
further
draw
deep
in
dives into
people
some of the games that they
Who
showed
weren't
on
necessarily
Sunday.
gamers. Gamers are going to love this game as well because
Somebody's
it's
playing
a
that on the
very
phone. Okay, that's
mature,
interesting.
in-depth story.
So she's
But
not
this
using a
game
controller,
really
she's
taps
using her
into your
phone.
life skills rather than
Huh.
your gamer skills. Puts everyone on a level playing field. You did well there. That is a ferocious job.
Oh, Charlie,
We did it.
You share the same character, you discuss, you make decisions, and majority wins. It's like each player is like a voice in the character head. Are
you taking the money?
Is this a co-op experience then? Is that what this is?
Take the cash. It's been a massive journey, and I can't believe we're just like so close.
So like, are you
to
voting
this
on
game?
decisions?
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it when it's done.
Oh, it's okay. So it's either solo or multiplayer. Okay. Oh, it's coming July 19th next month. I'm definitely going to be trying this game.
What mysteries, adventures, and of course, slimes are waiting for us in the new vibrant world of Slime Rancher 2.
Yeah, Dark Optimus, I heard you were dating Amber Heard now. Is this true? Can we get confirmation on that? They just gave us a little update there at the bottom screen saying that Forza Horizon Hot Wheels is coming up next. Game Pass.
All right, time to get going. First trip in a while. Put this in.
Hey, it's Major Nelson.
Yeah. Passport. I need a passport. Where's my passport? Passport.
I don't think that was actually a passport. Passports are usually blue in the U.S. Why does Larry Herb have a inflatable? Never mind. Never mind.
Let's go. Let's go.
Welcome back to Melbourne. It is so great to be here in person. Get ready for the showcase.
So, Billy, I think what this is just my opinion. I think what's happening is they have this service and they're trying to cast a wide net, right? They're trying to offer a variety of different games that really just appeal to a variety of different type of gamers. And I guess it kind of makes sense if you look at something like Netflix. Netflix doesn't have all action type movies. It has dramas. It has big budget
so
movies.
Excited to tell you all about
titles.
Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels, the first expansion for Forza Horizon 5. So, Mike, let's start with why the team decided to bring Hot Wheels to Forza Horizon 5's Mexico.
Our fans have been telling us for years about how much they loved Forza Horizon 3's Hot Wheels expansion. So we've been waiting for the right time to bring everyone another Hot Wheels adventure.
Hot Wheels
Forza Horizon
expansion's
5
fun.
presented the perfect opportunity to bring Hot Wheels to life like never before with the power of the Xbox Series X and S.
It really does sound like the perfect time for Forza Horizon and Hot Wheels. So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about what to expect being in the clouds of Mexico this time.
Yes, you travel to the clouds above Mexico to visit the Hot Wheels Park, which is comprised of over 200 kilometers of the fastest, most extreme tracks yet. Once there, you'll join the Hot Wheels Academy and set out to take on Forza Horizon's most extreme racing yet and prove yourself a Hot Wheels legend.
Let's go.
As well as the iconic orange Hot Wheels track, you'll take on new driving experiences across gravity-defying magnet tracks, as well as ice, water flume, and rumble tracks.
So we spoke loads about biomes in the build-up to Forza Horizon 5's launch. Are we expecting something similar in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as well?
Yes, so we're truly going to see the power of the Xbox Series X and S when we look at Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels all new biomes. The amount of detail and diversity that we can pack into the 4 new biomes is breathtaking. We have the rugged Giants Canyon, where you'll hear the growl of your engine bouncing back off the intricately detailed rock formations. The Ice Cauldron, where frozen tundra drips into the glistening molten lava. In Forest Falls, you'll see a tree canopy towering over epic waterfalls. And finally, the visually stunning and exhilarating Horizon Nexus, where the Horizon Festival is suspended among a web of Hot Wheels tracks. And there's more, because new players can jump into Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as early as possible during the main game's initial experience.
And how are people going to be able to use Event Lab in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels?
So in Event Lab, you'll have the freedom to design, build, and share using the new Hot Wheels Creation Kit. That's over 80 new track and stunt pieces that instantly snap together thanks to our new building tools. You can then share your creations with the entire community for players to discover and play. We are anticipating our community building an ever-evolving catalogue of new player-created Hot Wheels events that everyone will enjoy.
They all sound absolutely incredible, Mike, but I'm going to ask you the most important question in the room. Can you tell me a bit more about the cars?
Yes. So we have 10 new amazing cars coming to the pack, including 4 new Hot Wheels cars, which have been scaled up to real-life proportions. We have the Diora 2, the Bad to the Blade, the Baja Bone Shaker, and the Chevrolet Hot Wheels Copo Camaro. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels introduces the most extreme tracks we've seen yet in Forza. So we've added some new extreme track toys and hypercars to go with them.
That's fat.
I want to call out the Hennessy Venom F5 and the Mosler MT900 GT3. Their speed is unlike anything we've seen before.
So we know Forza Horizon 5 fans naturally love co-op, so how is that continuing in Hot Wheels?
So in a first for Forza, you can join with your
Billy
friends and play
Kira.
from the very start
That's a
of the
great point. I mean, like, you know, they did have other
You and your
games like
friends
Viva
will then take on
Pinata
a new
and
campaign,
Banjo, and
moving your way up.
and that's what I'm saying. Like,
faster car
you know, I
classes
don't know if you heard
until
me say
you
this
unlock
earlier. I
the
just feel
extreme
like
speed of X
when we
Class
hear
and
about
become
this
a
thing
Hot
eats
Wheels
monsters
legend.
and 12 teraflops,
You can also choose to
and
take on the
most
world in
powerful
Horizon
gaming
Open, or
console.
team
We
up with
haven't
your
seen a
friends
game
to take on a team of
that
driver
really
cars in
exemplifies
Horizon
that.
Tour.
We did
I
see those types
absolutely
of
love
games
that.
on the
Final question
Xbox
now,
360. If you
though.
think of
When
like
can we
Gears of
expect to play?
War,
Yes,
you go back to the
so
original
Forza
Xbox,
Horizon
you
5
think
Hot
of
Wheels releases on July
Ninja
19th
Gaiden,
on Xbox
even the
Series
original
X and
Halo
S,
to an
Xbox
extent.
One, Windows PC, and Steam.
So,
Mike, thank you so much for joining me. This has been so much fun, and I cannot wait to play.
I'm not seeing that. Although I was impressed by Starfield, though. I thought it looked pretty good. This is Fall Guys. What's up, CTR2? I hear you, Bernie. I think you're not the only person I've that shares that sentiment that Pentiment was kind of a disappointment. I get that. Master Chief, Cortana. Cortana, grab me a weapon.
Now, onto our next block, pun intended, of course. Minecraft Legends is the action strategy take on the franchise you never knew you needed. I'm here with Dennis Rees from Mojang Studios, who has just released the world
So
premiere
we've got about
trailer
22
of
minutes
Minecraft
left
Legends.
in this
Dennis,
stream.
welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Malik.
So happy to have you. I mean, this is a really exciting time for the team. Let's talk Minecraft as a whole, though. That game, I have nothing to back this up, but I feel like everyone on the planet's played Minecraft at this point. But that wasn't enough for you all. You all went and made Minecraft Dungeons, and now we're moving on to the recently revealed Minecraft Legends. So one, tell me a little bit about what it means for the team to actually be able to reveal the game. And then two, just let us know what Minecraft Legends is.
Well, we are so excited to finally be able to talk about this game with the world. We've been working on this game for some time now. Minecraft Legends is an action strategy game. Is set in the Minecraft universe. And in order to build this, we really wanted to partner with a great company that understands strategy games. And so that's when we reached out with Blackbird Interactive. And in doing so, we were able to create an
B-Staples, about 21 minutes left to the show,
welcoming for people who may have not played Minecraft, but also
because the
people
show
who
is
have.
also it's
And
90
I mean,
minutes.
you've seen the trailer. It's about going and traveling through these beautiful biomes, exploring this world that is familiar yet still mysterious. And so as you explore these lush biomes, you collect resources, and then you use those resources to build defenses from these dangerous but very cute piglins. And in those offensive, you're able to fight them back and send them back to where they come from. And you know what? You're going to probably want to build some alliances with some unexpected friends, because they're going to help you actually defeat the piglins and send them back to where they come from.
I'm looking forward to it. And I love what you said about trying to make a game that's both for fans of Minecraft that exist and new fans coming in. Minecraft can go in so many different directions, I feel like, with a new game. What made you choose action strategy?
Well, really, it was many years ago, as a group of folks at Mojang sitting around talking about what game genres they really enjoy. And action and strategy were the most popular ones that came up. And so we started to think about who we could partner with to build that experience. And that's where we came into Blackbird Interactive. And that was back in 2018. And, the project was codenamed Badger. And an interesting little fact for many of those people that might follow Minecraft, if you go back to Minecon 2018 and you look at the shirt that Jens Berenstain was wearing, you'll see a graphic on there. And it's in the shape of a badger head. And really, that was meant to be an Easter egg for years forward, which here we are now.
I got to say, I love a good Easter egg. Now, where would you say that Minecraft Legends fits in the overall Minecraft universe?
Well, the Minecraft universe is just always
Thanks,
growing
Birdie.
and expanding.
I appreciate that,
and
man.
if it's not from,
Like I said,
partner
Microsoft
communities,
did
it's from
announce
Mojang,
in
specifically.
their
Like
press
you mentioned,
release that
Minecraft
this is
Dungeons.
essentially what the
That's
show
a great
is going to
example
be.
where Mojang went
It
out
was
and
going to
built
be a
this dungeon
follow-up on
crawler
stuff they showed on
experience in the
Sunday
Minecraft universe.
with the
And
developers.
players love it. It's wonderful. And with
talking
Minecraft
about,
Legends, we're trying to do
or
something
giving
similar,
more insight
really.
into
and here we're going
the
to be
stuff they showed on
introducing a
Sunday.
narratively driven campaign with a whole bunch of new characters and a lot of other things that I'm not ready to share right now.
Dennis, I thought we were friends. You can share it with me and everyone watching. No? Okay. I won't pry anymore. But tell us when the game is coming out and where we can keep up to date.
It's coming out in 2023 on PC and console on Xbox Game Pass. And if you want to know more, just follow us Twitter or jump on Minecraft.
Thank you, Ice Queen. I appreciate that.
Dennis, I'm so
apparently
excited
we
to
have
jump into Minecraft Legends. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us the lowdown.
Thanks
Spam
for having
bot
me.
in here.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Kirsten, aka K Von Doom, and we're here at Xbox FanFest. We got a whole lot for y'all to check out, so let's get it in.
Hey, Rich, what's going on, man? Wonder if we'll see anyone we know here. We saw Southbound earlier and the Italian Clowns.
They asked me what year Halo came out, won the sweet jersey.
Oh, no, that's in Toronto. Never mind.
Here on site, and I get to meet
That's in
the real
Toronto.
Master Chief.
Experience here, out of this world. It was really cool to see. I'm gonna go get my nails done because they have a nail station, and these things need to be painted.
Redfall looks dynamite, and come on, Diablo 4. Oh, it's so, why are you so gruesome? All bloody things. No, but it's great. I love it.
What a day we had today. Thank you, everybody, for
Diablo
showing up
4
to
was actually
Xbox
pretty
FanFest
cool.
Toronto.
I like
Had
what I
a lot
saw
of
with
fun,
Diablo 4.
Saw a lot of games. Great experience
Definitely like
overall.
Diablo 4.
Catch you in the next one.
Here we come. Are you ready for more? It's that thing we got. Coming in real hot. We breaking down the ground. Whether you ready or not. Start it up. Do it like ready, set, go. We're going up next. Yeah, watch this. Yeah, watch this. Yeah, right now it's that move. Go and do that thing you do. Turning heads, you make them look. Yeah, they got their eyes on you.
Thank you, Ice Queen, for moderating again. I really appreciate it. Every once in a while, we get these spam bots. So, Ice Queen, you're basically just passing the time by until your
I'm
package
joined
arrives.
now by Sarah Bond, who leads the gaming ecosystem organization here at Xbox. Sarah, it's so
All
great
right,
to
Sarah
have
Bond's
you.
in the
It
house.
is awesome to be here and so good to see you too. Yes, I'm super excited for this conversation because as we know, game creators are crucial to Xbox's success. And whenever you talk about them, it's with such like passion and tenacity. I love it. And it sounds super important to you and the rest of Team Xbox. So my question to you is, how do creators inspire the work that you and your team do?
The creators are just the bedrock of everything we do on my team. You know, when you really think about it, where gaming really comes from is it starts with someone who has a creative idea that they choose to put
and Billy,
into a
that's
game
that's
that we
been my
all get to
criticism of them. And you know,
and
people
enjoy.
are like, "Oh, you're just
and that's really
biased
the bedrock
BRAP
of our
against
industry,
Microsoft."
of
No,
what motivates us is to help those people,
my
those
criticism is
developers,
based
bring their
off
stories
of
out. And we think about it in
the
three ways. You know,
expectation
how
they
do we
set with
create
me as a consumer
vibrant
and
engaging
based on
gamer
their previous
community for
performance
them
and their
to come
previous
to
output
Xbox?
of
What are the set of
first-party
tools and
content, even
services that we give
second-party
them to make it
content
easier and
that really took
faster and
advantage
more
of the
affordable
platforms that
for
those
them to
games
make
were
a
supporting at the
game?
time, whether
And how
it's
do we create
the
a
original
range of business
Xbox or
models
the
that they can
Xbox
use? Because
360.
a business model really enables them to perform all sorts of different types of
there's
innovation.
historical context
Yeah,
here.
business models, tools,
So-
resources, all these
And I was an
provide
Xbox Live beta
choices,
tester.
and it's increasing these choices for not only the developers, but the players themselves as well.
Yeah.
For example, you and your team just announced a new feature that's going to bring game demos to players. Can you tell us a little bit more about Project Moorcroft?
Project
here's the,
Moorcroft. I
game
know.
demos
I
to
love these
players.
project
I think
names. I wish they would just
people
let
are
me
upset
name
about
it, but they won't.
people are upset
I
when
know.
PlayStation
Can we change that?
announced
we were
it
sitting
as
around as
part
a
of
team,
their
and we were thinking
PlayStation
about
Plus
some of the
premium
things that
service.
we've
You would have
always
access to
loved the
game
most
demos.
about the gaming
People were upset
industry.
saying it was
And one
behind
of
a
them was,
paywall.
remember when you would go to like a show?
I just think that's a nothing burger. I don't
PAX or
care.
E3,
It's just
and
an
you would
additional
go
value
and
add.
you would go to the show floor and you get to play a demo or a piece of a game, and the developer would be right there next to you, talking to you about their experience, asking you to try things out, asking you your feedback. And that was one of the things I loved the most about those experiences. We just don't have them as much anymore, you know, in the way that the world has evolved. And so we thought, gosh, how can we make Game Pass like that? Like, how can we use the power of Game Pass, all of the
Games
great
Pass.
discovery and player engagement that is in it, and have it create for creators that opportunity to engage with fans early as they're creating their game, and also for players to get to experience something that they're really anticipating. And so that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to have a program that enables developers to take a piece, a level of their game, and put it into Game Pass so that they can get that great feedback and players can engage with them. And we know it's a lot of work sometimes for developers to do that. So we're also going to compensate them for their participation in the program. I'm so excited for what's going to come when we launch that.
I think the one thing that we all miss is that
So isn't that like an
connection,
alpha or
right?
beta?
And now
Like if
that
you-
we are able to come back
I don't
into
know.
conferences
Well,
and stuff like that, we still need to
We're
deepen
giving him
it, because
Yeah.
by deepening that
feedback?
connection, you're
The develop- if you're
diversifying the
playing- trying a
voices,
game out, you're
and
giving
then
them
that
feedback?
in return helps to
I
diversify
don't
the
know.
games and bring diversity into games. So
Completely.
how will Microsoft help to further that front?
Yeah, we think about it all the time, frankly, as Microsoft, as Xbox, in my team in particular, because creators is core to everything we do. You know, if you think about a game, it enables you
starving,
to
everyone.
experience a perspective,
I've
a
not
point
had
of
lunch.
view, in a way that is deep and immersive, unlike any other form
Deep
of
and
media.
immersive.
So the
Double
importance of
kill.
everyone having an
30
equal
million players.
opportunity to share their story and their perspective through a game, and what it means to shaping our perceptions, to what we talk about, to what we believe, to broadening our perspectives, is critical. And we think about that all the time. So what we've done as a team is we're continuing to expand the set of developers who we're engaging with and bringing them into the Xbox ecosystem. We've actually more than doubled the number of developers that are making games for Xbox. And we saw lots of those games in the last day, which has been pretty cool. And the other thing that we did this year is, for the first time ever, we actually have a presence in Africa. We have our first Xbox employee in Africa, specifically dedicated to working with creators in the region.
So what message would you like to leave for creators who are interested in starting in the industry?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. People say to me, gosh, I would really like to be part of the gaming industry. I'd love to make a game. How do I break through? How do I get involved? I say, first of all, network. Talk to people, meet people, connect with people, just how you and I connected actually at an industry event, which we met at, which was super fun. You know, build that network and that connectivity, because it's so critical in every industry, but I think particularly in gaming, right? You know, go to industry conferences like GDC, meet people, learn, try that out. And if you're interested in making a game for Xbox, you can actually go to github.com. You can actually download the Xbox Game Developer Kit and get started. And
Ooh,
once
maybe
you have a
BRAP
game
will make a
concept,
game.
you can also
Maybe I'll
submit
make a game
it
that takes
online
advantage of the
through
12 teraflops of power.
ID@xbox.com, and then you can self-publish to Xbox, which is another great way. And of course, if you actually want to get involved in the industry, all companies are great, but I highly recommend you check out coming to work at Xbox. I'm biased, obviously.
I mean, hey, you have every right
No
to
bias.
be
No bias
so.
whatsoever.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. And also, thank you to all the viewers for tuning into Extended. We've heard from so many amazing developers on today's show. Now, before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Just one more thing.
We were talking earlier about the importance of people being able to tell their story through a game and how incredibly powerful it is. I mean, when we were talking about that, I was thinking about an experience we've had as a team that's been very touching for me. So, a couple of years ago, we started really consciously extending the depth and breadth of content that we have in the Xbox ecosystem. And it was through that I got to know the team making Stalker 2 really well. And I actually got to intro that game last year in the Xbox Game Showcase, and it was just incredible. And the thing was, when I was looking at that game last year, and I was looking at the story that they were telling, and they were talking about the beauty of the land and their dedication to their culture and their country. And I thought, wow, this is a cool game. This is a compelling story. But sitting here today, recognizing that team is Ukrainian, they were based in Kiev, looking at that story and what they were showing to the world just feels entirely different and far more poignant and visceral to me. You're
That's a great point.
This is a team who's talking about their culture, talking about fighting for the existence of being a nation, of being a people, of having their own language. And now we all as a world have gotten to see how tenuous that in fact is. And it's an honor, frankly, to be part of this industry and to have the opportunity to uplift their voices and to let their story be told through a gaming experience, especially knowing what we know now about the situation in Ukraine. And as part of that, they actually shared with us something that they wanted us to share with all of you today as part of the show.
Есть.
Wow. I mean, this is very powerful.
Работа, идеи, она не останавливалась. 3 месяца назад началась война России с Украиной.
Шок-код, рабочий день начинается с тревоги.
Сейчас сильних обстрілів ми біжимо в укриття.
Це переноска для мого кота, який загинув ще в перший тиждень війни. Ходиш вечером, сирена, выходишь днем, сирена. Днем еще работать надо, поэтому особо не выйдешь, а вечером все время вот так.
Це моє робоче місце.
Вже 3-й місяць я живу і працюю в коридорі. Зі мною живе одноокий пес, врятований з-під обстрілу в Гостомелі. Зараз мені важко писати квести про війну, коли вона йде навколо.
Jeez, wow.
Так работает в перерывах между сиренами і волонтерськими задачами.
Світ ще побачить, наскільки в нас класна культура, і в тому числі, наскільки класні ігри ми можемо робити.
Меня зовут Александр. Я являюсь сотрудником компании ЖСК. Я с Мариуполя. С начала боевых действий была потеряна связь с моими родными и близкими. И это непередаваемое ужасное чувство, когда ты не знаешь, живы они или нет.
Я Дмитро Ясенєв, розробник Сталкера. Ніколи не міг уявити, що в 21 столітті в центрі Європи може статися повномасштабна війна.
Я Олексій Іванов, ком'юніті-менеджер проекту Stalker 2. Весь зброю в руках захищає свою Україну.
Oh, wow. Some of these some of the employees are actually in combat.
Stalker 2. Після перемоги я до неї повернуся. Побачимось на релізі. Слава Україні.
Wow. Oh, we're getting a Stalker 2. Okay, so this is new then. I think. I think we're about to see. I don't think they've shown this before.
Last question, Dr. Dallin. Are you sure the perimeter surrounding the zone is really enough? If a powerful emission were to occur, we would...
Listen, the zone has remained stable for years. Besides, we didn't establish the most advanced institution in human history without first guaranteeing its safety. As the head of the Scientific Institute for Research of the Chernobyl area, or CERC for short, I believe the wonders that we will bring to the world far outweigh the potential risks.
How big are these risks exactly?
The zone reveals a whole new world. We can stick with the old one, fearing change. But tell me, do you want our descendants to remember us as cowards? Or as those who dared to venture forward to a new, better humanity?
The injured were evacuated. I remind our listeners that a similar incident happened in our region quite recently, ruining homes and livelihoods. However, city officials urge people to stay calm, assuring them the situation is totally under control.
All right, 2023, Stalker 2. All right, that's the end of the Xbox Games Showcase Extended. Thank you for watching. All right, so that kind of went as I thought it was going to go. I mean, Microsoft through the press release, or Xbox, said that that this was going to be just an extended showcase of stuff that they already showed on Sunday, kind of with like a developer diary deep dive into the games that the developers are working on. So the Stalker 2 thing was very powerful at the end there. I mean, so the support Ukraine, to see some of the developers there that are actually in combat. Wow. I mean, that's, my thoughts and prayers, with the team and obviously with the folks, the people of Ukraine. But yeah, I mean, this was kind of what I thought it was going to be. Nothing, no surprises per se, with regards to what we saw. But the only thing I'm going to say is, again, when I kind of have had time to digest, the stuff that we saw, this past Sunday. Again, my criticism of Xbox is that the marketing of the Series X, the 12 teraflops, that eats monsters for men, and we haven't seen a game that we can look back upon and say, wow, like this is like next gen for the Series X, right? Like we've had that with previous console iterations or generations with the Xbox, the original Xbox. We had games like Ninja Gaiden, even Halo to an extent. On the 360, if you think about Gears, we haven't seen that. And while I think it's great to have variety and have these games that are, you know, indies and maybe smaller in scope and maybe don't push the visual limitations of what the box can do. I think when you hang your hat on just that is a problem for me, because of the things that you said that this console would do, and the fact that we're year 3 and into this platform, and it's 2022. You're not going to have a first party exclusive. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done at Xbox still. And sure, the studio acquisitions were a step in the right direction, but now it's time to start delivering the goods. I mean, those are just my initial thoughts, and just, you know, after I've had time to digest, the event on Sunday. So, yeah, I mean, and then, maybe we shouldn't be surprised, because again, with the Xbox One X, we didn't really see anything, a game that was like, wow, okay, this game is for the Xbox One X. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. And again, I go back to, there's some historical precedents of them doing this, right? When they talked about the original Xbox and the power of that console, and it having the external hard drive, the internal hard drive, right? And having a Pentium processor in it, and they had games that backed up the claims of that hardware, that what that hardware was capable of. Same thing with the 360. We're just not. I'm not seeing it with the Series X. And that's been a major criticism. I don't think there's any issues with offering a variety of different games that appeal to different tastes, but I would be more okay with some of the games they showed if we had those games where it was like, wow, okay, this is next gen for them, or this is, and that's why in part I was really excited to see Starfield, because Starfield is probably the most next gen game from Microsoft, from Xbox, that I've seen so far. So we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully Hellblade could be that game, Hellblade 2, because what they showed last year looked really good. I know a lot of people have talked about, well, 12 months, people complained last year that they didn't really show gameplay. Now they showed gameplay, and they've given us a 12-month release window. That's great. But because I think of the lack of first-party exclusive this year, right? And you're year 3 into the generation, 2020, 2021, 2022. I think having a longer roadmap would have been a good idea. In this case, given what I said, like it would have been a better, having a roadmap outside of 12 months would probably I think been better for them, because they could have announced some of those bigger titles, right? Some of those titles that maybe take advantage of the Series X, give us a vertical slice like they did with Hellblade. I don't know. I just think they have a lot of work to do. And maybe we'll see those games eventually, but I just think it's been a long time coming. So just my 2 cents. But look, it's 2:34 here Eastern time. I need to get some food. I want to thank everyone for watching the stream. Seriously, really enjoyed you guys hanging out with me. Please hit that like button. And if you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. BRAP will be back tomorrow. Our regular BRAP program will be live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll talk more about this extended showcase and the showcase from Sunday. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We did do a reaction show on Sunday, but definitely check that out. But let me know what you thought of the also let me know in the comments what you thought about the extended showcase. If you felt like you were interested and enjoy kind of the more developer diary or deep dives into some of the content that Xbox had showed on Sunday. So again, please hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. And then BRAP will be back tomorrow night, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So everyone enjoy the rest of the day. Have fun playing video games because that's what it's all about. And we'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the YouTubes. We're out. Peace.